What's up, guys? This is Dr. Andy. I believe this is our 16th episode this far on Talks with Dr. Andy, myself, and my buddy James Gillespie, who's rocking the long hair down right now. Today, we're going to be going over the benefits of resistance training and the impact on body composition and weight loss, so predominantly fat loss. So I'm going to start with James. You can kind of lead us off with this. Is what, in your opinion, do people out there need to know about the impact of resistance training, and why is that more beneficial than, say, someone who just goes out there and runs to try and lose fat?
Yeah. Well, I want to first say that it's the boring work. Okay. For people that are not like you and I, that don't derive, enjoyment, happiness, and have a lot of fun in the gym, throwing on weights, jumping on a pull-up bar, doing CrossFit, doing F45 or going on long rucks with weight on your back. For people that don't enjoy that, like, this would be what I would consider the boring work, right? The work that's actually going to give you the biggest benefit in the long run, but it's going to be the shittiest when you start, right? Because you're going to be pushing yourself into a place where you're forcing adaptation with your body. I mean, that is the whole reason why we even do resistance or strength training. And we're going to use those terms interchangeably, but so that people know what we're talking about here, we're talking about loading yourself outside of just your body weight. Okay. Like, you could use a crude definition to say that when it's moving anything more than your body weight, but Andy made a very good point before we started here that, like, we don't want you to think that you've got to be bicep curling more than your body weight for it to be strength training, right? Just moving something outside of your body in space. And so strength training or resistance training, right? What people commonly refer to, what the meatheads do in the gym, right? Whether it be isometric. So think isometric and isolated work more like what people would think of when they're thinking of bodybuilders, right? Or look at someone with CrossFit doing compound movements. And without going into like too many granular details of, everything there, realistically, the call here is for you to do more strength training, for you to do more resistance training, because over the long run, there's massive benefits. Decrease in prevalence of osteoporosis and a decrease in sarcopenia, right? You will add more muscle, your bone density will go up, you will have more stability, right? You'll have more overall strength, you'll be more resilient to injuries. And then on top of that, it also has ridiculous fat loss benefits. Now, why is that? Because metabolically, you're healthier. Okay. So when you slap on more lean muscle onto your body, you're able to, in layman's terms, burn more calories at rest. Okay. Like, don't get too involved in this thinking that, like, hey man, the bigger I get, the more that I'm going to burn, because you don't need to go so far as to start injecting yourself with exogenous hormones to get to a place where you have enough muscle where you can burn a ton of fat. That's not necessary. What is necessary is that you load yourself consistently week over week with ample volume. And we're not even going to go into that today, but week over week, you increase, the resistance so that you're forcing adaptation for you to add muscle, right? Because more lean mass on your body is not only going to help you with weight management, which surprisingly, I know you're like, well, you're adding muscle. Like, how are you not gaining weight? The funny thing is that you might be gaining weight and muscle, but as you go there, combined with other interventions, like being intentional about nutrition, 80% veggies on the plate, high protein, being intentional about hydration, not having acid reflux, other things going on that we've spoken about before. Overall, in the long run, nutrition can get you some fat loss in the beginning. You can't maintain it without more muscle, though. Truly can't.
So, geez, like, my question to you then would be, for someone out there who's thinking like, well, I'm taking a pharmaceutical, right? Mm-hmm. And, just an example.
Like, give me an example. A peptide, or what are we talking?
Yeah, semaglutide.
Okay.
Just be one example. So they're taking a pharmaceutical to help with weight loss. If they're listening to this, and they'll be like, well, cool, I'm taking this supplement, I'm taking this pharmaceutical, I'm losing weight, I don't need the weight train. Like, what would be your reason for them of saying, like, well, is it just, we'll stop being lazy and work out, or is there a benefit to resistance exercise outside of just losing weight that they could just get from taking that pharmaceutical?
I would say that, like, first of all, I want to say this with love, like, you being told that taking semaglutide, however you want to say it, is your key to long-term sustainable weight loss. It's not true. Now, is it quote unquote a means to short-term, very fast, aggressive weight loss, what we would consider extreme weight loss that people see sometimes with 75 hard or keto or something else? It's very exclusionary. Sure. The fact of the matter is one, we don't have long-term studies, right, of what you're taking. And so we've got to make sure that we have other interventions that we have long-term data on, long-term lifestyle data on from intervention, week over week, month over month, year over year. And the unfortunate part that your physician probably didn't tell you about taking something like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro is that you're decreasing not only just your fat mass, you're decreasing your lean muscle tissue, and you're decreasing your bone density, because you're quite literally smoking your body out with an appetite suppressant. So I had a conversation recently with a registered dietitian that's been on the clinical side for 15 years, right? And she works a lot of times with diabetes individuals and looks at lifestyle interventions. Okay. And outside of like a constant glucose monitor, right? Outside of something like that and being intentional about nutritional changes, the biggest thing that she, out of her own mouth, as a registered dietitian, right? You would think she'd be like, oh, it's all about veggies. It's all about protein. It's all about this. The thing that came out of her mouth with people specifically on things like semaglutide is that the biggest and best lifestyle intervention that you can have is the weight training over the long run. Because if you're looking for fat loss, I'm sure you're also not looking for frail bones, right? I'm sure you're not also looking to fall down the stairs and break your hip at 25, right? Well, what's going to happen if you don't have strong bones is that who wants a hip replacement or wants to come back from, your pelvis breaking at 25? I know I don't. Andy, I know you don't in your 30s. And I know that you would not recommend anyone that would be at higher risk for that to happen by taking some exogenous thing that's going to get you, the body of your dreams in 6 weeks, but then not realizing that you got to take it forever. Like strength training outside of just the aesthetic benefits, I mean, it makes your bones stronger, right? It makes things easier. Now, it's shitty in the beginning. Totally get it, right? It's shitty for the 30 days, the 60 days, the 90 days, the 6 months when you start. But the thing that combats that is you get way more results in the short run when you start. So it kind of offsets psychologically. But you do have to get your ass moving and get to the gym. It's not fun, especially if you don't love it.
Yeah, and too with that, I think we're both advocating that it is indeed a lifestyle change. So this isn't like I think we not to go into this, but we use the term diet incorrectly. I think diet, a lot of people associate with like, well, it's 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year. It's this limited aspect of time, which it's not. And we I don't want this to be like, hey, work out for 60 days and then you're good. This is what James is alluding to is like, hey, it's gonna suck in the beginning, right? If you're not used to it, and it could suck in the sense of, yeah, if you don't enjoy it, it's gonna take a little bit for you to change your mindset around and alter your actual physiology and mental state. And then as you get used to it, it's just like anything else, it starts to become more of a habit, right? And it becomes your lifestyle. So this isn't like a 60-day, get on this strength training program, get your ideal body. Everyone's journey is different. It's just, you have to make this, not have to, right? But we're advocating that you make this a part of your life, however that looks for you. And on the clinician side, James mentioned a lot of good stuff, staving off like a lot of injury, whether it be soft tissue or even osteoporosis, osteopenia, these bone softening and frailty diseases. As a clinician, the biggest thing I want somebody to do is get underneath some weight or lift some stuff, because it's going to have massive beneficial effects for you. Yes, getting a better aesthetic body for sure, right? Which is what we're kind of really trying to put in the focus here for people, that struggle with that, that take these pharmaceuticals to get a quick fix on that. But strength training in general is going to do so much more as far as, outside of just aesthetics. It'll get you lean muscle mass, right? Which can have a huge benefit to not only, metabolism, but immune system health, right? And even gut health. And then, also for people that have less fat stores in them, right? Instead of your body taking and stripping stuff from your muscles, right, and using those proteins that build those muscles up, that lean mass, and using that for energy, your body will start to, the healthier it is, it'll start to convert more fat that you do have and use that as a really reliable source of energy. So you're creating this two-prong kind of, or multi-prong benefit where you look better, but your body actually is healthier. So, and I think I just want to make sure that people understand that, James, we're talking longevity here, that it's not just like a 90-day do this and then, you can coast, but, stuck in the beginning for sure. Just like anything else, you try to learn something. A baby tries to walk, right? They're going to crash. They're going to fall. We don't see them, get upset so much as we do just kind of see the difficulty of it. Once they get a habit, boom, they're off and running.
Yeah. And I think that, pick your outcome, right? Aesthetically, this can change the way that your composition is entirely, right? This is also something that will stave off, quality of life things towards the end of your life. And unfortunately, the way that a lot of people are living, these things that we think are end of life, like 70, 80, 90, most of us will experience at 40, 50, and 60 because of how sedentary we are. And so not only like if you want to look better booty bone naked, wonderful, right? Strength training will help with that. And that's really my goal. I mean, I would love to say that like it's long-term, it's lifestyle. Like I will probably die out of a helicopter accident jumping, right? When I have no business jumping because I'm not in war, in the military, what have you. And that's fine with me. But for me, for strength training today, I'm just trying to look better naked, right? And not even for anybody else, for myself. Pop out of the shower and say, ooh, bitch. That's why I wanted to strength train. Okay, legitimately, you may not have that. You may say, I've got time. And maybe, or maybe not. Maybe you don't have time. I mean, we don't know what any day looks like legitimately. My recommendation is that you have a little bit of short-term discomfort, right? Because it doesn't suck after you get rolling. It just sucks when you take some time off. And maybe you've taken 20 years off. And that's okay, right? You're here today. You have a decision. You're listening to us. If you got to this point in the podcast, for all of the fuckery that we've said on these podcasts, if you're here today and you're listening to this or you're watching this, you have an opportunity to step into a better you. You have an opportunity to be better than you were yesterday, to drop some of the things that you know are not serving you. And it's also not our job to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. We're just offering you things that have helped us, that we've seen help people around us. And so take that for what it is. And also something that you can go pull the meta-analyses on, right? Another benefit to strength training is it is an intervention for mental health. I don't know if you've looked around, but there's a lot more mental health stuff going on. And some may say that, now it's just being widely accepted. And others may say that we've been doing it to ourselves. And a third party may say it's not real. Now, it's not my job to be judge, jury, and executioner on which one of those is true. It is my job to let you know that there is empirical evidence that states physical activity is 1.5 times more effective at reducing mild to moderate symptoms of depression, psychological stress, and anxiety over medication or cognitive behavioral therapy. If you don't want to look better booty bone naked and you don't care about your quality of life in your 40s, 50s, 60s, if you could just have your quality of life today be different, is it worth it? Is 3 to 4 times a week in the gym worth it? I would say so, but I can't answer that for you, right? And that right there, that's all I got. That's all I got. Andy, you got anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that, for those of you that do enjoy doing other modalities of exercise or any kind of training, you can keep doing that, right? Just if you're not doing any resistance training currently, add that in, because the benefits are they're insurmountable, like James was kind of alluding to, and they can have far-reaching effects, positive effects, mentally, physically. So, yeah, man, I think that was good, dude. I got nothing else.
Cool. So you either want to look booty bone naked better, right? You want to not have shitty quality of life down the road, or you just want to impact your mental health, or maybe it's none of the three and you're just sadistic and you want to go move some weight, and that's cool too. You get to choose your own adventure. It's your life. We're here just trying to share what's worked for us and those around us. And I hope that this was beneficial. And if it wasn't, that's cool. We're going to keep doing it either way. And if you want to hear about anything, if you want us to talk about anything specifically, shoot me a DM, comment, email, what have you. and then share it with a friend. Maybe it helps somebody. Maybe it doesn't. Hope you have a great day. Peace.